This is a name that I haven't even thought about, but it could be a huge, low risk, high reward. Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, King Dingbat here. Hope everybody's having a great day. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you hang in there. You know, I haven't even thought of this name. But it could be a huge signing for the Eagles. A low risk, high reward type signing in which you get the best of both worlds. You bring in another receiver and you can keep Quez Watkins. Now, before we get into it, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, make sure you subscribe to the most censored, the most throttled, Eagles content creator in all the internet. And if you've been subscribed for a while, I just want to thank you for all the support you give to me. It truly, truly means a lot. It really, really does. Now, I was sitting there and I was thinking about different players and what the Eagles are going to do, because I really sit there and I think all day. I think, man, what is Howie Roseman up to? What is he up to? If I could just be a fly in the wall at the NovaCare complex, because you know he's probably calculating the calculations of his cornbread with his glasses and his pocket pencil protector, and he's ready to go. He's got his Napoleon hat on. He's ready. He's ready. And I'm wondering what he's going to do next. And I was on Twitter. I don't go on Twitter a lot, but I try to check it, make sure I'm not getting messages and stuff like that. But I saw this from Victor Williams, and he had posted this. Eagles listed as a possible destination for a two-time All-Pro receiver. And it goes on to say, the article basically, that the Eagles should be interested in signing one Julio Jones. That's right, Julio Jones. Now, Julio Jones, look, he's older. There's no question about it. He's an older guy who is at the end of his career. He's 34 years old. And last year, when you look at his statistics, he really didn't do much. He had 24 catches, 299 yards, 2 touchdowns. And then if you go back and we look at the last, let's look at, of course, they text me every time I'm filming. Jeez, these people. But if you go back and let's look at his, last 3 years, right? 2020 in Atlanta, he had 51 catches, 771 yards receiving. Then in 2021, he played in only 10 games, and he had 31 catches for 434 yards, and that was with Tennessee. And then last year with Tampa Bay, he only had 24 catches for 299 yards in 10 games played. One of the big problems for Julio Jones, and one of the things that have been a big issue for him, is that Julio Jones has not been able to stay healthy. And that really is the big problem. And Victor Williams did a thing on this, a write-up on this on Liberty Line, and then it really came from USA Today. And USA Today, they were trying to talk about where potential people could possibly go. And this is what they said about Julio Jones coming to the Eagles. It said this: at this point in his career, future Hall of Fame receiver Julio Jones will either probably chase a Super Bowl ring or retire. If the Philadelphia Eagles gave him a call, he could reunite with former Titans teammate A.J. Brown and give Philadelphia a spectacular depth addition of its receiving group. And I think that's the key to this whole thing: depth. Jones' health has been a point of concern in recent seasons, but Philadelphia is deep enough at the position to give the former Atlanta Falcons star the limited snaps he needs to really make an impact and stay healthy as possible. And to me, that's what's so interesting about Julio Jones. It's to me not even that he would potentially, you go out and you bring him in and then you say, all right, Quez, we're shipping you out. We got Julio Jones. You don't want to do that. But if we're going to keep Quez Watkins and we're going to look to bring in depth at the receiver position, even competition, Julio Jones could be a low risk, very high reward type signing for the Philadelphia Eagles. It really actually the more I think about it, the more I'm like, what do you have to lose? Why not? Go get him cheap. It's almost like getting Sue last year. Like, Sue's at the end of the year, he's ring chasing, right? Definitely, he's ring chasing. And he's going to only go to teams that have a shot. And, if he has anything left, it could be good for us. And Sue had a lot left, and it made a big impact. Now, if Julio Jones comes in and he doesn't have to start in the slot, and Quez is there, and hopefully Quez can win the job, I'm looking for Quez Watkins, and I keep saying this, I'm looking for Quez Watkins to have a bounce back year. I think Quez has a lot to prove. I think he's highly motivated, and I like how he's handled himself. He made one comment on Twitter, people are going to basically pay, and then after that, boom, you don't hear anything from him. You don't see him doing Jalen Reagor type things, okay? He's at work, and he's putting his head down, and I expect him to have a rebound year. However, if you want to talk about adding depth, maybe bringing in a guy who could use in the red zone, Julio Jones may not be a bad idea. And if you're Julio Jones, you're probably saying, I'm not going to a team that's rebuilding. I'm not going to a team that isn't going to win a Super Bowl or doesn't have the right quarterback. But a team on the edge, a team that can win, that may be a perfect type thing. Now, I don't think Julio Jones comes in and takes over for Quez Watkins. I'm not saying it. However, if we're going to keep Quez Watkins, Julio Jones may be a great guy to bring in with depth, as a depth piece, somebody behind him. And you could even have Quez Watkins, Julio Jones, the kid they got from Atlanta that I can't pronounce his name. Let them all compete for the slot spot. But at the end of the day, you think most likely, hopefully, Quez would win it, and then you have a depth piece with Julio Jones. Yes, he's coming on for the ride. He's going to have limited snaps. He's only going to be used in certain situations. However, it may keep him fresh. It may keep him healthy. And then in the playoffs, when you really need him to come up big and contribute, then you have him. I really actually like this idea. I think it would be a good move for the Eagles. And Howie Roseman, he says it. We're never done. We're never done. We're always looking to get better. So I thought that was a pretty interesting idea. Not because you're looking to get rid of Quez, but because you're looking to add depth to Quez Watkins. So it's something definitely to keep an eye on. Would the Eagles do it? I don't know. I think that something like that would be done probably during the year. Like, I don't think you bring Julio Jones in June or July. He might not want to be around wasting time during training camp. But you're talking like, week 6, week 7 or something like that, or week 3, whatever, during the season, kind of similar to what they did with Sue. You bring him in then, and then you have him as a depth piece. I kind of like that idea. I thought it was very, very interesting. Now, in this USA Today report, they had a bunch of players where, they thought they would end up. And one of them that kind of disappointed me a little bit was this Yannick Ngakoue one. I want to show you. They have Yannick Ngakoue going to the Chargers. I'll put the link in the description for the article, but I want the Eagles to sign him. Like, dude, to me, he's the perfect piece for the Eagles to add depth to that rotation. Like, he's really, like, if I had to say, all right, what are my list of free agent targets that I would want to get right now? The number one guy on my list is Yannick Ngakoue. He would be the number one guy I would want the Eagles to go after if they could. I think Yannick Ngakoue on the Eagles with that rotation as a depth piece would be unbelievable. I mean, I think it just would be unbelievable. So that's who I would say is my number one target. And any other guys that I really like up there, you're dealing with guys that either have to get cut still or you would have to trade. I think Kevin Byard is another one that I would absolutely love to get. But is he going to get cut or are they going to try to trade him? That would be the question. Yannick Ngakoue, you could go out and you could get him like right now. Like right now, he's a free agent. That's what I think. And that guy had 9.5 sacks last year. What are we doing? Let's get this guy in the fold, man. And let's let him play with that defensive line. We just make that defensive line that much better. I would love to do it. But Yannick Ngakoue is my definite number one choice. They have him going to the Chargers. that kind of disappointed me. And at the end of the day, with Julio Jones, I think it's a very interesting situation. You bring in Julio Jones. During the season as a depth piece, something to that effect. I don't think that's a bad idea at all. I really, really don't. I think it's like it's not going to cost you much money. And then, if you have him as a depth piece rotating in, then hopefully he gets limited snaps and he stays fresher and stays healthy. What do you got to lose? What do we got to lose? We got to go back to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? We got to go back to the Super Bowl. With that said, take care. I almost forgot what I was going to say. Take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. I got to go to work. Peace. Yo, I watched that PlayStation special thing where they were showing all the games that they were going to release, this upcoming year. Dude, what kind of games? Like, all these games are like for 8-year-olds. They're horrible. The graphics stink. Whatever. I mean, I guess Spider-Man that looks interesting. But, man, what the hell has happened? What has happened to our gaming systems? They all gone. There's no game. They used to put out games like all the time. You get a new console, especially a new generation. There was always a game that would come out that was like the game of that generation. They don't have nothing. I am so disappointed, sick of this crap. I may stop playing consoles altogether. I am 47 years old, Denzel Washington out.